Hello guys, so today we are going to be talking about events in Solidity, okay? So with that being said, let's get straight right into it. All right, so events in Solidity are quite similar to the events of other programming languages, okay? An event is literally an inheritable member of a contract that stores arguments past the transaction logs when needed, okay? In other words, what events literally do is they make it much more easier for you to print information on the blockchain, and it makes it much easier for you to be able to retrieve this information from the blockchain, all right? So with that being said, let's see some sample code on how literally you can be able to write these transactions, these events functions by yourself, okay? So for instance, let's say we have a contract as such, event example, and we have a function also designed as such, okay? So we are going to create a variable, and we are going to call this, let's say, uint 256. We are going to call this variable, let's make it public, by the way. We are going to call it value. Let's equal to the value of 0. Okay. So when you want to declare an event, you must equally start with the keyword event. Then you declare the name of the event you want. Let's say you want to give it a name as increment. All right. And within this, you need to pass in some parameters. Okay. So let's say want to pass in whenever we call this event, literally want to emit this, want to store the address on the blockchain. Okay. Address, and let's just call it owner. Okay, we're going to pass one parameter for this example, right? So this is how literally you declare an event. Okay, it's being declared as a global variable. Okay, so with this, let's actually define a function, for instance, a basic function, for instance. Let's say to use this within a function, okay, this event within a function, let's say whenever this function is called, you want to be able to emit, you want to be able to store the specific information on the blockchain, okay, which is going to be passed into the logs. All right, if you don't know what the logs is, I'm going to be showing you in a few minutes how you can be able to see if it actually works or not. So you need to always use the emit keyword. All right, after using the emit, you need to now write in the name of the event. Okay, so you put in increment. All right, so for the parameters which you are going to pass, and it's going to be msg.sender. It's a global variable. So this is what we are going to be passing on, what we want to emit, okay, rather what we want to be stored on the blockchain, in other words, right? So let's just declare let's create a function that's just going to add two values, okay? That's the value of a and b. We can simply just say value is equals to a plus b. It's quite basic, okay? Let's make it underscore a plus underscore b. All right, it's quite basic. All right, so what are we doing here? Literally, we're trying to pass in an event. We've declared an event, okay? So this is how you declare an event, by which whenever this event is being called, all right, we call this event by using the emit keyword, emit the event. Literally, this is going to be dispatched to the blockchain, where we're going to see, okay, the message.sender, the address of the person who actually called this function at that particular point in time. You're going to be able to see that on chain, okay? So it's very important. So let's save this contract and be able to see what we have. So we have saved the contract. Let's deploy the contract. I'm going to deploy it right here, okay? And when I deploy this contract here, I expect, let me set in two values, because I'm going to call the get value function. Let me set in the two values. Let's just say 9, all right? The next one, let's make it as 5, okay? So I expect that when I transact, let me open the terminal so I can be able to see what's happening. I expect that when I transact, okay, we should be able to see a log, okay, that literally tells us the event increment, and we are going to equally be able to see the address which was actually emitted, okay? So let's transact it, for instance. So let me open this terminal here. As you can see under the logs, okay, these are the input values these are the decoded inputs. We put in two values, 9 and 5. All right, the function wasn't meant to return anything. All right, it was just meant to emit the increment event. So that's what we literally did. And with that being said, we can literally see that within the logs, okay, we have an event. This is the name of our event which we had it increment, okay? The arguments which were passed was we wanted the address to be actually stored on chain. And this, as you can see, this is the address which was stored, right? And this is the owner. It's literally the same address. It's not different, right? So for instance, let's see some other examples literally. So what this does is, if you actually write a function as such and literally use the emit, it makes it much more easier when literally you're trying to build an application, let's say Web3 application, and you want some data from the blockchain. It becomes much more easier for you to access the data from the blockchain, right? That's why I literally use the emit keyword, and it's going to be less costly for you than using other ways to actually get data from the blockchain, right? So let's see some other examples. Let's see some other functions, some other examples by which you can be able to, some other examples of event in Solidity. Okay, so let's see, we have an event and a function. Let's also have an event as such. Let's see, let's put another event around here. Let's also have an event as such. Okay, we have an event known as new trade, right? And in this new trade, you can see this event literally has data type of event, and it has name of date, and you can see it's indexed. Okay, and literally this index value here is simply, what it simply does is it adds different fields to our event. We can index them to help access them later, but of course it's going to cost more gas fees. Okay, that's why we're indexing them. Okay, so it also does the same thing, but it makes it much more easier when the data is being retrieved. Okay, but it's going to cost you more gas fees if this is how you intend to do it, right? So you need to know the differences between you using the index keyword or you not using it. Okay, it makes it much more easier when data is being retrieved from the blockchain, right? So literally the same thing, and let's say we're going to create another function. Let's have a function as such in the same format. Let's create a function. Let's have a function as such, right? And let's say this is our function. Okay, and within this function, what are we doing? Okay, because in our events, we literally said this event literally has 4 arguments. All right, it has a date, it has the address where the address that is sending, all right, and the address that is going to be receiving, and the amount. Okay, so within this function, if you want to like emit that on chain, we must always use the emit keyword, the name of the event, all right, and then we'll pass in the required arguments accordingly. For instance, we must start with the date block.timestamp, which gives the current time as at now in seconds. Okay, and literally you will have the msg.sender, the person sending the person calling the function, and the person actually who is to receive, likewise the amount. Okay, so this is it literally. And if you save this function, for instance, let's say we say Control S, but you save this, let me save this, and let's not interfere with this previous function. So since this is saved, let me save this, and then let's go and deploy this right away. All right, so with this being deployed, you can literally see let's say address 2. We can copy an address from here. Let me just go to the second one, let me copy this address, and then we paste it here. You can see the address ends with CB2. Okay, let me paste it. All right, let me go back to the first one. All right, let's say the amount we want to transfer 500, right, way, for instance, and let's say transact. All right, so within the lock, all right, we expect to see these parameters which will pass within the event. Okay, so let's say we'll come down here, for instance. I don't know if it's visible. Let me try to increase it for us so we can see what's happening right here. Okay, so for instance, we can literally see within the lock array, it's in our array format, we have the curly braces right here. You can literally see this is the amount we transferred, this is the third one, this is the fourth one rather, this is the address to, right, and this is the address from. Okay, and this is the block, the timestamp, this is the current time in seconds. Okay, so this data literally It's very important. Let's say you're trying to build a dApp or something and you need some data, okay? So with this data being present on chain, you can actually query the blockchain and literally get this data. Okay, so events actually makes it much more easier for you to be able to access this data in a very, very nice manner, right? So with that being said, if you didn't understand what was being said, you can kindly rewatch the video and you should be able to explain what's really taking place here, right? So this is literally how you define events in Solidity. It's very, very important, right? So with that being said, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.